Hi, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice here with you. Snow forecasting in hurricane season? What in the world? It is certainly very possible. And in fact, what's happening right now, what's developing right now, will have significant impacts on our wintry season. And I expect some along the East Coast are going to have one winter to remember. We are monitoring all things tropics right now. We have you covered from the Gulf to the Caribbean to the Atlantic. Anything that forms, we're going to let you know. This is the channel for that. We're going to keep you posted around the clock here at WIFF4, but so far nothing is brewing at the current moment. But what is brewing is going to impact our hurricane season, and in fact there are two main things: El-Nino and a very warm ocean temperature right now in the Atlantic. The two are going to combine to give us what I expect to be a very snowy winter along the East Coast. Now, I cannot tell you exactly where that's going to happen or precisely when, but I can tell you the pattern moving forward does favor big-time snow and big-time cold outbreaks across the East Coast. So let's get right to it, because many of you have missed out on snow in the past couple of years. You heard it last winter. New York City, Washington, D.C. went months without seeing snow. Chicago even had a big-time snow drought there for a while. Well, in the Western Carolinas, in Greenville, where I'm broadcasting from right now, our last snow was 565 days ago. The record is 768 days without seeing snow. That was from January 2011 to February of 2013. But you go back to that season and our last wintry season where we didn't see a single snowflake, those are the only two in recorded history that we did not see snow across the Carolinas. And that's unusual. We typically see snow just about every single year. But even so, we have not had good snow lately. You look at the last 4 years across the Carolinas, and we've just had really, really wimpy winters. I mean, an inch here, 2 inches there. You go back to 2021, 2022, we had that big time snow. 6.5 inches recorded at GSP International Airport in Greenville. However, many areas had much more than that. Moving forward, El-Nino is going to be a major impact on the end of our hurricane season. Unfortunately, we wish El-Nino was a little bit stronger right now, because the way the jet stream is so active, it would help tear up hurricanes. El-Nino's a baby right now. It's growing. It will be strong by the time we get to late fall and especially into winter. So El-Nino is basically warmer than average sea surface temperatures in this area of the Pacific. What that does is basically invigorate the southern jet stream, and when that jet stream is basically more active, you're going to get more systems. That doesn't tell you you're going to get snow. You very well could just have a whole lot of rain in the winter. But there will be cold air that dives down, and when that northern branch of the jet stream and the active southern branch meet up, that's when you get your big-time snow. El-Nino typically leads to very wet winters across the southeast, and with that cool air diving down at times, the two meet up, that's when you get your trouble. I do expect it to be an active winter. Whether it's active stormy or active snowy, I think we'll probably get a little bit of both. El-Nino typically brings more than double the amount, or nearly double the amount of snow as a La Nina year for the Western Carolinas. And when I look specifically at El-Nino winters, 2002, 2004, 2009, we had big snows in those years. In particular, 2014, GSP only recorded 3.7 inches of snow because it was a lot of ice. That was a big-time ice storm. So El-Nino years typically give us this across the East Coast. We get blizzards in the Northeast, blizzards in the mountains of North Carolina, snow, we get ice, and we also can have severe weather, all of which appear to be on the table this winter. Another pattern to watch, the warm sea surface temperature in the Atlantic. We're talking serious warmth brewing out there, which is trouble for our hurricane season, but it's also fuel for systems in the wintertime. Imagine bathwater. It doesn't cool down instantly. It takes time to cool down. The sea surface temperature will still be above average or mild going into winter. So any low pressure system that tracks up like we showed you is going to feed off of that above average or warmer than average sea surface temperature, and that basically will feed more moisture into cold air should it dive down. So storm tracks this winter will need to be watched especially close along the Carolinas into the East Coast, and as we get up toward the Northeast, there could be what we call snow bombs. Yeah, where the bomb cyclone drops out the millibars of pressure drop significantly in just 24 hours, and you get the snow to crank out like a machine. 2018 is the last time that happened. Big time snow up through New York City, Philadelphia, parts of Washington, D.C. just buried, back through the Appalachian Mountains. If you remember another El-Nino, 2014, completely shut down Atlanta, Georgia. Couldn't go backwards, couldn't go forwards. There was ice and there was snow just about everywhere you look. So winter's set up to watch. We know we're going to have the activity. We just need the cold air. High pressure centered over the Great Lakes. Great spot to bring cold air down the spine of the Appalachians. That will be the pattern that we'll need to watch out for moving forward. And should we get blocking patterns, this would also support activity along the East Coast, because you have high to the east, a high to the west, and lows diving down. That brings in the cold air from the northern branch. Like I said, we're not going to have any problems bringing in the moisture. It's just if we get in these blocking patterns, that could lead to short-lived cold blasts. And all this said, I do expect an above average year for snow across the upstate. An average year would bring us around 5 inches. I do expect at this point, given the information I could see, we're going to have above average snow. For the mountains, a typical year brings you almost 10 inches, and I do expect we'll have above average snowfall in the mountains as well. So let me know what you think. Is this something you like to hear? Is this something you dread hearing? Some of you would like Florida weather all winter long. Well, we'll continue to keep you posted on both tropical season, that's in the forefront of our minds, and winter as we get closer to it. Have a nice day.